Hi, welcome to Things That Keep Us Up at Night podcast hosted by Kath and
Candy.
where we literally talk about things that keep us up at night. Yes, today's topic we're talking about school.
Yeah. How's your school life so far, Kat?
I would say it's pretty stressful because as we're recording this is it's like going to towards our term break, and obviously since it's towards our term break we have like a lot of things to do, so a lot of assignments and a lot of like practice stuff. And honestly like it's very hard because now we're in diploma, so it's like obviously different from MYP. So like
Yeah.
usually in MYP, if it was like coming towards our term break, it would just be like more quizzes and like projects and not really like exams. But now since like it's diploma, we have like a lot of things. We have like term tests, we have quizzes, we have projects as well, and we also have to do the other things required by IB, which is like CAS and EE and other stuff, and
TOK.
TOK, which is very stressful, honestly.
I
What
think
about you?
especially because it's COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the home learning program really works for me personally. So like the fact that we have to sit through school at uni is like it kind of hurts my brain a little bit, I guess. I don't know. And I feel like everything matters this year for some reason. And there's so much pressure to like, oh, you have to do well, otherwise, you won't get into what your colleges or whatever. But I think we need to get rid of that mindset because it's really stressing me out.
If I'm being honest, I do have the same mindset as you because grade 11, like at the end of grade 11 is basically when you get your predicted score. And
Mm.
I don't know about UK because you're going to UK, but for the US you have to send your predicted score, right? And
Yeah.
so it's really stressing me out because like it's like um if my predicted score is bad, I'll have like a lesser chance of going to university, and like a
Yeah.
good university. And like I just get so anxious thinking about it.
Yeah, me too. Like, I love to think about the future and stuff, but then if I don't do well now, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm gonna fail everything or whatever, even though I know for sure that's not gonna happen. Like, I'm probably gonna do well. I think all of us are gonna do well. Like, generally speaking, I think we'll do well in life, but then it's just there's so much pressure that the teachers, I guess, not just the teachers, but also myself, I'm putting so much pressure on myself to do so well. And like exams are in 2 months, so it's like
Mm.
a little bit stressful. But yeah, I mean, we're getting through it, I think. I'm getting
Yeah.
through it.
No, honestly, if I'm being honest, I feel like um going to um diploma from
Mhm.
MYP, it was such a big thing to the teachers, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm sorry, like I feel like they kind of like exaggerated it too much because they
Yeah.
kept saying like
Totally.
um you have to do this, you have to do that. And like um if I'm being honest, most of the teachers hate our batch because we don't really have a great reputation, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
yeah, so I feel like that's why the teachers were kind of strict, like stricter with us. And they're kind of just like, uh, they were like lecturing us about personal project, right? And they're like, you guys are gonna go to diploma next year. You guys are gonna fail diploma if you keep doing this, blah blah blah. Blah. And like
Yeah.
during the start of diploma, they were like, yeah, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. If you miss this, you're gonna fail IB, you're gonna not pass the
Oh
IB.
my
And I
God,
was like,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
my God.
And so
Mm,
I feel like that just made me like very stressed, like especially with the fact that like it was the beginning of DP when I didn't even like do anything, when I didn't even have like any classes yet,
mm,
because it was that was still like the orientation period. So I was just like, oh no, like I was already freaking out before I even tried it out, right? And like
mm.
there are just days where I feel so relaxed, and that just doesn't settle well with me because I'm just like, why am I so relaxed? Like, shouldn't I be doing something? Like they said DP would have to be so hard. Like you have to keep like working until like for DP to pass DP and stuff. So like whenever I like relax, there's just always like this thought behind my head that's just like, no, why are you relaxing? You should be working right now. So like whenever like I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, so like whenever I relax and like start watching stuff, like I just feel guilty, you know? I don't know why.
I'm the complete opposite. Like DP was especially in the beginning, it was so hard for me. I don't know. I'm not great at maths, but all of the subjects I'm taking are very science heavy and like maths related. So then it's like it was really hard for me to juggle at first, like the amount of content that I'm being bombarded with. And until now, like if I have one day of not studying, I'll beat myself up for it. So I'm kind of struggling in that department. But then I don't know. I feel like term one and term two was really difficult for me, but I think it's getting better. It's more like I just need to learn how to learn properly. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think my issue was I didn't know the best way for me because I wasn't so used to like the whole corona thing. So I didn't know like if this is something I have to get used to, then obviously I need to change the way that I learn, right? I need to like take better measures in order so that I can comprehend the subject better because it's different from when you're at school. I don't know. I'm kind of struggling, but like it's okay. It's
I
okay.
feel like okay, despite like our previous special episode, like we were talking about like yeah, this just separates like the studiers and the non-studiers. Like
Mhm.
um I would consider myself a non-studier, I guess. No, like I do study. It's just I
Yeah, I
don't
get what you mean.
I don't
I get what you
study
mean.
as much as, for example, you. Because, like, after classes, like, I text you, you're like, oh, yeah, sorry, I'm studying. Like, like, there are times I would be studying after classes, but, like, for me, it's just after school, I take a break. And then, so when it reaches, like, about, like, 5:30 p.m. ish, I start studying again. But like it's not like I'm not like you where I study after school until like dinner time and then I study after dinner I
Mhm.
study again. Like I study but just like not as much as you because like I've had many instances where I've tried studying like you and it just really didn't work out because I was just very tired and like I just was just stressing out about like oh my God, I have so many topics to do. This. And I've realized like that type of studying isn't good for me. So I like realized that my type of studying is like the one that needs to take things like step by step, you know? So like
Yeah.
if I can't cram like about like 5 or like 10 chapters in one night. So like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
the type
Yeah.
of studier that like needs to study things from like before the exam. So I need to
Mm,
like do like 2 chapters per month, you know? So like I can like I'm kind of like more chill. But then when I look at my eldest sister, she's like the way she studies is like cramming, you know? She says she works better like that, and it's
mm.
wild.
It doesn't work for me either. Like the reason why I study a lot, like I don't actually study like so much every night, right? I just do like I read my textbooks for different classes, but I only do like a few pages, like 1 to 5 maybe per session, so that I can build up my understanding over time versus cramming everything like the night before an exam because that's what works for me, I guess. But I mean, it's good that I guess we can establish that everybody has like their own way of studying, I guess.
Mhm.
So we should all take our own pace, which is difficult because in DP everyone's so fast. I feel like I'm lacking behind. But
Yeah, me too. Like honestly, I feel like you shouldn't compare yourself to other people.
mm,
Okay, I'm kind of being a hypocrite here, but yeah, like everyone takes things at like a different pace. So you
yeah,
shouldn't compare yourself like by the way they study and stuff because in the
mm,
end you're just burdening yourself, you know?
yeah,
So
it's true.
um you should like take some time to realize that like um I have my own pace. I like my own pace and this works for me and that works for them. So we're different, you know? So
Yeah,
this kind of happened between me and Candy because there was like one point where I kept comparing myself to Candy, where she was like constantly studying, and she was like the one that always like paid attention, like so much attention in class, whereas like I would be like listening to class and like writing a few notes, but then like by the end of class I would only have like 2 pages of notes, and like Candy would have like around like 10 pages of notes, and like that kind of like freaked me out. And Kenny just kept reassuring me. He's like, no, it's just my handwriting's big. And I'm like, I don't think so. You have like way more information than
Mm.
me. But like in the end, like we got like the same scores. And so
Yeah,
like that kind of like made me realize that, yeah, we have different types of studying and we have different
mm.
paces. So I guess um
I
me
feel like
not writing much notes works for me, and Candy writing a lot of notes works for her.
I'm quite I don't think I'm naturally smart. That's why I have to work hard because things don't come naturally to me. Like if I pay attention, like as much as I am paying attention and stuff, I won't be able to understand anything because my brain is kind of slow.
Mm.
It's kind of slow, I think. I mean, I can understand like sciencey things, but then like when it comes to especially like history or humanities, sociology, I have to like really I have to really concentrate and like write notes because there's so many key terms and terminologies and stuff that I don't understand. So I really have to like write everything down. But yeah, I mean, we all have our own pace, and I guess that's a good thing to note.
I feel like, how do I say this? I'm also not like naturally smart. I'm I this is so sad, but like I'm like the dumb one between my sisters, 'cause between like all three of us, I'm the only one that moved to an IB school and is graduating with an like like with an IB certificate. They're like both of them were able to survive Cambridge, and I was like that kind of made me feel dumb, but at the same time, like moving to
Bro,
an
I'm
IB
sorry, but
school.
isn't IB harder? No, but like, not in terms of content, but in terms of about like workload.
Mm,
I
well,
think because
I'm
IB is meant to be a little bit more university oriented.
kind of,
I don't
yeah.
know.
And so basically, I'm the youngest, right? And so I would always be asking help from my sisters, and the way they teach isn't like the very like loving sister kind of thing. I mean,
Mm.
my second sister does. Like she helped me with chemistry, like bless her. And like I don't know, my eldest sister, the way she kind of teaches me is kind of just like, huh, you don't get this? Why don't you get this? It's so simple. Are you stupid? So it kind of made me feel more stupid. But like my second sister kind of like the way she teaches me, she makes things fun, you know? So like I guess that's what happened. That's what happened. That's what helped me.
Mm. I think one thing that really helped me also is having people that are smarter than me academically in a subject to teach me. So like I would have, okay, I'm not going to drop names because, we don't do that on this
Mm.
podcast. But right now, I have like two friends who help me with everything because like I'm in every subject with them. So they constantly like have to teach me everything slowly and they do it so well and they're so supportive of me. Like if I don't know the answer to a question, they'll always type it in the chat, and they will help me out and tell me after class like how to solve something. It's good. Like it really, really helps, to have someone teach you. But it also helps if you can teach somebody because then that also strengthens your
Mhm.
understanding. So
Like
it's good. Like, yeah.
yeah, for me, it's also kind of like that. Like, I have friends in every class that help me, and
Mm,
I have like this one specific like study group for like any subjects, despite like us not taking like exactly the same subjects, but it helps. And so
it
I
really.
think it's good, to have like people who want to help you and who support you. So that's good.
I feel like during the second term, like after the second term, you know how people usually ask like, "Oh, what did you get for so and so? Like this class, this class, this class." There was barely anybody who spoke about their scores. Do you realize? Like more than usual. I don't know if
Mm,
that's just me, but like amongst the people that I interact with and like other people, nobody asked me for my grades and I never asked anyone for their grades. I feel like everyone kind of did not as good as they hoped for
thing
because
is,
I didn't do as well as I hoped I would.
for online school, not many people really asked me for my scores because I feel like less people cared, and like usually in like in-person classes, you have your scores handwritten, so it's easier to like show. So it's just like,
Mm,
okay,
that's
I'll
true.
show each other scores at like three, one, two, three. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, but then like in the first term, I had so many people ask me like, "Oh, what did you get? What did you get?" Of course, I didn't tell them because I'm still embarrassed. But whatever. I mean, okay, I'm not failing, but like I feel like I didn't do well. I had so many mental breakdowns in the first semester of school.
I mean, me too. But like, I feel like mental breakdowns are fine because it kind of helps you kind of relax. I don't know.
True.
Is it just me?
Yeah, I mean, crying it all out makes me feel a little more calm. Yeah. And I guess if I talk about it with somebody, because then I can clear my head, like I know what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like I know my train of thought, kind of. Like if I talk to myself about it, sometimes I feel better about it as well. But still, like I feel kind of I don't know. It's okay, everyone. It's okay if you're having a mental breakdown every now and then. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think we're all struggling, kind of.
For me, I don't know. I guess what helps mostly is like when I'm having a mental breakdown, I send a recording to you as I'm crying because I don't when I'm crying, obviously I can't type because like my eyes are blurry from all tears, right? And like the thing is, Candy also takes a while to reply, so it kind of helps me like stop thinking about it for a while. And like once she replies, like I've cooled down, and like her like response kind of helps
Oh,
me
thank you.
because it it reassures me even more, you know. Like I've calmed down, and then your advice reassures me even more. And then um I feel like um having a mental breakdown is fine. Like crying is fine. Like it's just it's kind of just like it's okay to not be
Mm,
okay. Like I'm not talking about the Korean drama, but like I'm just saying it in general. Like it's fine to not be
yeah.
okay, you know? Because like you can't like your life obviously isn't always like sunshine and rainbows, right? Like there are obviously gonna be like some hardships throughout your life. Yeah, so like this happened very recently. So like really recently actually, it was last week on a Thursday. So as we mentioned before, because of IB diploma, you have this thing called TOK. And for those of you who don't know, TOK stands for theory of knowledge, and this subject is where you basically like talk about things and you discuss things and stuff like that. And well, for the assignment, we had to do a presentation, right? And it was a group presentation. Well, not group, partner presentation, right? And my group had to go. And then after that, I after my presentation, the teacher gave me feedback, right? But like, um, how do I say this? This teacher isn't the type of teacher that like encourages you, like, oh yeah, you made this mistake, keep this in mind. Please don't make this mistake the next time. The way he phrased things just made me feel very stupid, and he wasn't very encouraging. So I I cried about it, but like um thank God for online school because like if I were to cry about this in real life, like I feel like everyone would like like would point fingers, be like, "Oh my God, you're such an attention seeker." But like yeah, I just started crying, and the only person I told about this to like during at that time, like specifically at that time, it's not you. I told you I told I told you I told you after I've kind of calmed down, was my partner who I did the presentation with, right? And she was like, "It's okay, we can do better again. It's fine. I'm pretty sure everyone's feedback that he gave was pretty long, and you're fine. You can improve again." Like literally the only person who like reassured me was my partner who did this, and who I did the presentation with. And like I still kept crying though. And the only thing that made me feel better was redoing the presentation as to what he said it was supposed to be. And then after this, I still kind of like kept thinking about it, right? Because like obviously I can't just forget about it, right? So I like just started I started thinking about it again. And yesterday I had this call with my theater teacher. Like bless him, I love my theater teacher. You know who it is. And like yeah. And so after that, I since he used to be a TOK teacher, he asked me like about TOKs, like how are you doing about with TOK and stuff. And since I'm very comfortable and like kind of close to him, I told him about it, right? And he kind of just went, "Oh, it's okay. That's normal." And I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, that's normal. It's very normal." And then I told him more about that thing. He's like, "Okay, yeah, I get it. Like, um, it's okay to cry." And then I was like, "Yeah." And he's just like, "Because everybody has different coping mechanisms." And I was just like, "Oh, yeah, that's true." And then he just said, okay, you know what? Since I used to be a TOK teacher, you can like go come to me before you submit your stuff and stuff like that, and you can ask me for help. And like, oh my god, bless him. Like I haven't had like an assignment yet, but like he just kind of like made me feel very comforted, unlike my TOK teacher. But yeah, bless my theater teacher, I love him so much.
I love him too. I mean, yeah. Anyways, so I don't know when's the last time that I cried. I feel like I'm very private when it comes to mental breakdowns and stuff. I don't tend to tell anyone. I mean, I obviously do. Like I cry not a lot, but then like I cry too. I'm not like what is it called? The people that don't have emotions. Anyways, yeah, I'm not that. It's just that I find it easier to cope by myself. That's why I don't really talk about like a lot of issues that I have. But then like I think the most recent issue I had is about um like my subjects HL level and SL level, because in different unis you have to take a particular level of a subject, right? And for the course that I'm taking, I have to take like higher level maths and stuff like that. But then I'm really bad at maths, so I feel like, you know what I mean? Like I feel a little like I have to step down and it makes me feel like I'm stupid or whatever. That's why I had like a mental breakdown because I just felt really stupid. But I learned how to maintain a growth mindset. So it's kind of like as long as I'm improving every day, even just a little bit every day, then I'm good. I'm completely fine as long as I'm, constantly making myself better, I guess. I find a lot of comfort in that.
Yeah, so honestly, um I'm gonna recommend another podcast. Is that fine?
Fine.
Okay. So recently I started getting to this other podcast. There's only like a few episodes, and I also recommend it to Candy, but I don't know if she's listened to it yet. It's called Gem's Coffee Shop, and honestly, I love it because she's currently in a uni student, if I'm not mistaken, and she took a gap year, and she talks about like a lot of like topics like school, for example, and she doesn't really get like in depth about school. She basically just talks about like her experiences and why she took a gap year and why she thought like why she's glad she took a gap year. And she also like talked about like um her comparing herself to other people. And like honestly, when I listened to it, I kind of saw myself, because I feel like I've done that so many times. Like um I've compared myself to like not even like people who I'm friends with, Like I've compared myself literally to like people who I'm not close to, and like it's not just like school aspects, It's just kind of like, wow, this girl has so many projects. Wow, this girl um is like has so many friends. Wow, this girl like is so smart. Like she's like an all-rounder. Like how can I do that? Why am I not that? Like, um, I wish I can be like her. And I don't know. Looking back at that, I feel like that was such a bad mindset, you know? Because I feel like you should be happy with yourself, but there are times, okay, you can be unhappy with yourself, but I feel like you should realize that you can't be someone else. You have to live your life as you, you know? So you shouldn't really compare yourself to other people.
I think just be the best, like the best version of yourself. That's fine, you know. As long as you're pushing yourself to the max in terms of what you can do, rather than measuring your success based on somebody else's like level of success or whatever, because success is really, it's really subjective, you know, like for everyone their definition of success is different. Like for me, as long as I have the freedom to do whatever I want and I don't have to worry about things, that's probably my definition of success, you know. But then for somebody else it could be like $1 million company or whatever their goal is, you know. So I feel like you don't have to, or you shouldn't, rather, you shouldn't compare yourself to another person's goal or whatever they've achieved. You know, they probably want to achieve something that you have as well. Like what you don't have doesn't mean that somebody else cannot have it, or what somebody else has doesn't mean that you have to have it as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree a lot.
And you know what's interesting? Because I feel like when I
Hmm.
talk to people at school at the moment, the hot topic or the main reason why everyone's stressed out is because of university, right? And, you know, if you really think about it, university doesn't actually really matter. And I think that the more the more information is like accessible to us, I think in the future, university is probably not going to be necessary in the future, you know? You see the amount of people who are like successful without it. Like it's mainly for education, right? But there are other ways to get education. So I feel like we're almost at the point where having a university is basically just a title or something. You know, I don't know if that makes sense. But then like I think in the future going forward, yeah,
Oh,
you can do like
do you
courses
mean like
online. You can do so many things to gain experience and to like gain education that you don't necessarily have to go to college, you know, if that's something that doesn't work for you.
do you mean in like you get into like for example like Stanford, you're just there for like bragging rights? Is that what you mean or
I mean,
is that what you mean?
no, like I guess, you know, high title schools, it doesn't necessarily mean better education, you know? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to college. I definitely want to go to college. Like I really do want to go to university. But then it's not for everyone, you know? Not everybody feels the need to go, or they don't want to go just because it doesn't work
Mm.
for them, or they don't think that it'll work for them. Then yeah, I say don't go if you don't, if that's, you know, my grandmother, my aunt, none of them went to university and they're doing completely fine. Like it doesn't necessarily mean if you go to like a good university, or even if you go to university at all, that you're not going to get a job or whatever, you know. Like my dad my dad is like unemployed, and he has been for the last 4 years, and he went to freaking Oxford University. So I'm just saying, like, it doesn't determine success. So I wouldn't stress out too much where you go to university, or like even if you get in at all. Like, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be completely fine. I don't understand why I or like anyone is stressing out too much about it, you know? But I feel like our school kind of puts pressure on it. Mm.
Definitely. Because I feel like it's mostly because if you do go to that university and you get admitted, they can like, it's obviously bragging rights. They could be like, oh my God, yeah, an alumni of a graduated from UCLA or got admitted to USC, blah, 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 blah. So obviously it's like bragging rights. So obviously the school will obviously like give you a lot of pressure to get into like a really good and really high university.
Yeah. And my dad took a classics major. and he didn't do anything related to classics. First, he became an English teacher for like a few years, like 25 years or something. And then
Okay.
afterwards, he worked at uh, HSBC, I think, which is a bank
Mhm.
or something. I forgot.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
then he worked at an engineering company with a classics degree. So, like, doesn't even matter what degree you pick, man. I don't know why people are stressing too much about this. Like, it's really not that important, you know? You know, one of my, I'm not going to say what she is to me, but someone who's really close to me didn't get her IB diploma, but she went to one of the top universities in the whole world. So if
What
you fail
university was that?
IB, hmm?
What university is that?
University of Edinburgh.
I don't know what university that is, but okay.
It's in like the top 20 or something, which is
I see.
good. It's really good. I mean, like, it's higher than Yale. Anyways, anyways, so don't put too much pressure on university because you're gonna make it. It's not about where you get your education from, it's about how you apply the education that you get, which is why TK is
Yes.
so important. You know, we learn how to learn and we learn how to question our education and stuff. It's great. I mean, we're like, I feel like we have like, we're so blessed to be, you know, having such high education. There's so many people who cannot even go to school, you know. And
Mm.
we have like such a good education. We should be so happy about that. You know, I
Yes.
don't we don't gotta stress because we're learning things anyways.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, basically, I would say if there's an instance where you're not doing really well in a subject, or you have like this really like this hatred towards the subject because because of the teacher, I would say change your mindset. Like, okay, it's gonna sound like very like cliche and be like, oh my God, I can't do that. I used to be like that. I was like, ew, change my mindset. Why? Why for? Like, I hate this teacher. Like, they can't teach. Like, yeah, okay, that used to be me too. But like I said, I'm close to my theater teacher, right? And so I've talked to him about my TOK teacher. And so basically he like comforted me and like told me to change my mindset. And like this went on for like a while, right? I was like, what? Change my mindset? What? Because I've been talking to my theater teacher about my TOK teacher for a while now. And it was just yesterday when it hit me. It's like, wow, let's try to change my mindset. And um my theater teacher gave an example where he changed his mindset because he basically was failing a subject, and he said in this class like half of the class was failing and the teacher failed them. But then he said, oh, so I decided to change my mindset, so I worked harder. And I was like, okay. And then he said, yeah, I still failed. And then I was like, so are you saying it didn't work? He's like, no, 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 listen to me. And then he said, oh yeah, so my teacher praised me. You all should be like him. And I was like, why? You still failed, sir. And then he's just like, no, because I changed my mindset. My teacher said, yeah, you should be like him because he still has a determination despite the fact that he failed. I was like, oh, okay. And so I feel like today I just had my TOK class and I've sort of changed my mindset, and I don't dread it as much anymore. Like I've been more open because my theater teacher also said um use this experience of you not really doing well in the presentation as a learning experience, not as like where not as like a thing to beat yourself up with, you know. So
Yeah.
you should you should use this as a learning experience. Be like, okay, I did bad at this, so these are the things that I can improve on. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
being like, why did I do this so badly? Like, oh my God, I'm so stupid, blah 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 blah. Which is literally what I did, but then my theater teacher was like, don't do that. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Like you should have a growth mindset, you know?
Hmm.
Always continue on improving yourself rather than like, oh, I failed, you know. But I feel like you're right about the teacher thing because sometimes teachers really do make or break like how you learn and what you learn in the class. Like obviously it is also your um it's your job to like as a student to pick up whatever you've been given and stuff, right? You have to work with what you have. But then at the same time, like I get that sometimes with the teachers it can be a little. I mean, like last year, do you remember like in maths we didn't learn anything? It's true though. Like I don't
Yeah.
remember anything from 10th grade. And
I
that's probably
only
why I'm really
I
bad at
only
maths
remember
because
like bits and pieces of it, you know?
yeah. I remember
Like
flashbacks, but I don't remember learning anything
me
because I'm
too.
sorry, but I couldn't work with the teacher and at the time, I feel like both of us we
We were a
we were kind of
distraction to
like,
each other.
well, that's one thing. So that's kind of our fault too. But
Mm,
then like with the teacher, like I feel like I would have been the same even if I wasn't with you in the class. Like if you weren't my
mm,
seat, I'd probably be the same. Because I'd be like, oh, this teacher cannot teach and whatever. So what if the teacher cannot teach? Like I can still look at the board, right? You know what I mean?
mm.
But then like, oh yeah, I didn't like that teacher. I still don't like that teacher.
Me
I'm so
neither.
glad that I love all my teachers. Like I literally love all my teachers and I have passion in like almost all my subjects. So I'm really lucky in that retrospect. But
Thing
yeah, it can be
is,
really difficult.
thing is,
I say
even
we should like
even if we were like a distraction to each other, like when either of us wanted to like focus, we gave each other space and we would talk to someone else, right? So like
that's true.
it's
That's
not
true. Yeah.
fully our fault. So if
That's
we
true.
so if like we wanted to study, we would like leave each other alone, right?
Mm.
And then thing is I just really couldn't work with that teacher because whenever I would ask a question, he'd be like, I said it just now. Were you not listening?
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
always talking with your friends. And I'm
Exactly.
like, I wasn't talking with my friends. I was paying attention that day. And then,
Yeah.
um, and then, do you remember that one time I got mad at him? Not mad, like I kind of lashed out. So it was like,
Yeah.
it was near an exam, right? And obviously we were both paying attention, right? And then the thing is, like, we usually talk to like two other people in our math class, right? Like no, like talk to them like every class. I mean, like we talk to other people, but like those two people are the ones that we talk to every class. And um, all four of us didn't get it, right? Even the other girl, who's a smart one of out of four of us, right?
That's
And
yeah.
so, and so, I went to ask the teacher, and then he's just like, I answered you already. Why were you listening? And I was like, what? I literally asked, I literally paid attention, and you didn't say it. And he's like, no, I did. I was like, huh? And then after that, I got mad because it was near exams, right? I was like, sir, you always say I never listen, and then you want me to do well in the exam. Then you, whenever I ask you a question, you always say this. What are you talking about, huh? It's like, sir, you always say, I always say, but then you're as a teacher, you're supposed to tend to my questions. And he's like, okay, fine, I teach you. I was like, oh, it took so much effort.
Exactly. Exactly. But then yeah, anyways, I feel like a lot of people in this batch, they didn't pick the subjects that they like, you know? So it's also hard for them to gain knowledge and stuff because they don't like the class. Do you have any classes that you don't like particularly this year?
I would say business, because
Oh yeah, business. I knew I wouldn't like business or apa economics, so I didn't join any.
because I'm sorry, I really like I don't really like the teacher because she gets emotional really quickly, and I can't really deal with that because I don't know, like don't lash out on your students, you know, like maybe like try hold it in. And the thing is, I also don't really like business because I've I got a really good score for all my subjects except for business, but I passed. It's just not what I expected. And yeah, but like again, I'm gonna try change my mindset and improve.
Hmm. I don't know if I have a class that I don't like. Probably like there are
In the
some classes
beginning,
that
did
I
you not
find.
like physics? You were like, I hate physics, but I love it at the same time.
No, like I love physics. Like physics is probably my favorite class. Like even if I'm feeling tired, I'll be like wide awake. I'll be like,
But
because
you
I
hated
love
it in the
physics.
beginning.
I didn't hate it. I just It was really difficult. Like
You just said
physics was
so.
so hard.
It was just kind of like where you
So
said
hard.
it's just kind of like where you like you were saying that you hated physics, but you
Yeah.
don't actually hate it.
I mean, yeah, I don't hate any of my subjects, but then, I mean, obviously I picked them. I mean, not obviously, but I picked all the subjects that I actually really like, right? But then they're also they're so hard. They're
That's
so
literally
hard.
what I
I think
told
they're
you in the
all
beginning
classical
of the year.
hard,
Like,
but it's
I mean,
fine.
not
I'm
even beginning of the year. Before we even got to diploma, we were asking each other what are each other's subjects, right? And then you sent me yours, and I was like, girl, you're gonna get drained, and I'm scared for you. Like, what if you
But it's fine. I'm working with it and like I really like my subjects, so I switched my mindset to being kind of like, oh, it's not that I have to pass. It's that I just really want to understand the subjects. So now I'm like approaching like my way of approaching the subjects is okay, I have to learn this because I want to understand rather than I want to pass this class, you know? Versus, TOK, CAS and EE. I honestly, I just want to pass. I just want to snatch that A. I don't care. Like, I just want the 3 points. I just want the three extra points. I just want to get my diploma and scatter, you know? But then with the subjects, it's more to like, oh, as long as I understand this and I understand everything fully, then it's okay. I'm fine. That's why. So like I'm doing okay right now. It's just that I think at first all of us were kind of like, oh, we'll be better in term 3, 4 because Corona is probably going to be over, but it's probably not, and we're probably going to be stuck in diploma program for the entire COVID, like remaining for
Yep.
COVID, I guess. Or even longer than that, God forbid, but I swear. So then like I feel like we kind of have to get used to it. I mean, we have no choice. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
You know what? If you think about it, we started online school around March, and it's almost March. So it's literally almost been like a
Yeah.
year of online school. Crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm kind of in this phase where I'm like I don't like online school, but I'm too comfortable in online school to go back to normal school.
I'm the opposite. I'd really want to go back to school, but then the thing is, I don't want most people to be there. I just want to be there. Like I rather it just be me, study group, and teacher, to be honest, and then everyone else can just go away. I don't need distractions in class. I just want to learn. Yeah, I think it'll be easier, especially for sciences, because how are we supposed to do digital experiments? Like, it's literally the most confusing thing ever. You watch something happening and it's not actually happening. So you're kind of like,
You know what? So I had to do an online experiment for ESS, which is environmental social science. And I was just like, it was so confusing because it was kind of like a catch and release what is it? Experiment, online experiment. And it was so confusing because like the labels were everywhere. And then after that, like my teacher's like, okay, yeah, just to make sure you have to do it like in real life. And it was a group project. So it was very hard because like um I was using rice grains and then another group member was using rice grains as well, but like the other group member was using seeds. So like it was like very different. So it was like yeah, group projects and like um experiments are very hard in online school, honestly.
for real, actually. Like, they are really difficult. Anyways, we'll leave it off there with some advice. You want to close with some advice? Like, short
Okay,
advice. If there's anything that we can take away from this conversation, what would it be?
you want to go first?
Sure, okay. I think that school, especially online school, is tough. Like, especially if you're in the IB, because I don't know how to balance my time with 6 subjects. But try to find what works for you. Like, during the first 2 terms, especially, like, try to feel out, like, what school is like. Oh, there's thunder. Okay, try to feel out what school is like, what are the situations you're being put through, and try to work with it change your mindset to be like a growth mindset one, like we said before. Just make sure you're constantly improving and try to take a better approach to studying, you know? Try to make it enjoyable. Don't just chill. Don't be too stressed out.
Yeah, I feel like it's basically the same as you, but what else? I feel like it's kind of hard because I would say like how to like kind of de-stress is to meet your friends, but like obviously you can't because of COVID. But I mean, if you have some friends who allow you to like go to each other's houses to kind of de-stress, then like go ahead, because um at least it's your houses, you know, it's like private property and it's not in the public, so it's kind of better if you guys want to meet there. And I would also say, yeah, have a growth
Yeah.
mindset as well, because like that really
Ask
helps.
for help.
And
Ask for help. Like always ask
yeah,
for help. Even from your teachers, who cares what they think of you? Just ask for help because you have to engage. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to add this, but like there was one point where I felt very like overwhelmed because I saw everyone having these projects and I was like, what am I doing, right? But then like I asked my school the school's university counselor and she said, "No, you're fine."
Yeah.
And so I guess that helped, you know.
Yeah.
So
There's
yes,
always a
ask for help.
way around your issues. Just write down like your problems and try to solve them, like go around it or whatever. You know, take a gap year or whatever. I don't know. There's always a way around your issues. Everything's going to be fine.
You can't take a gap year in high school, but like yes, in high school try your best, but like yeah, take a gap year if you want. Also, lastly, I would also say maybe if you feel very overwhelmed about school, maybe take like a second opinion other than your friends. Like maybe like an adult, like for example, like I'm comfortable with my theater teacher, so like maybe ask another teacher who you're comfortable with, or the university counselor in your school if your school has one. Thank you for listening to this episode of Things That Keep Us Up at Night. Please follow our podcast on Spotify. Subscribe to our YouTube channel that is Things That Keep Us Up at Night. Please rate our podcast on Apple Spotify. And you can check out the link in our Instagram bio. And our Instagram is at Things Keep Us Up at Night. You can check the link out to see what other platforms we are available on. And yeah, thank you for listening to this podcast. Bye.